Since time began, humanity has had one question that has never had an answer. Should I buy the latest version of Football Manager? I'm here to answer it. Let's get on with it. Now, before we start the episode, guys, if you are new around here, please subscribe, or think about subscribing. Not please subscribe. I'm not going to beg around here for subscribers, but think about subscribing. Almost at 1.2k subs. Leave a like if you're enjoying it so far. If you guys are new as well to FM21 or FM in general, this channel has so many tips, tricks, guides, help, everything that you need on this channel. FM related. Give it a subscribe. Look through the channel. Watch some videos. Let's get on with it. Should you buy FM21 or not? Let's find out. Hello and welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to Should I Buy FM21? And today we're going to talk about if you should buy the latest edition of Football Manager. Now, if you guys are new to the franchise or have played franchise before, this video kind of applies to everyone. I will talk through the basics and also talk through some of the new features compared to previous years. But if you are a new player here, obviously a lot of people come from FIFA. I feel like playing Football Manager. Now at Team of the Year has finished at FIFA. There's not much to go until Team of the Season. To be honest with you, I play Ultimate Team all the time. However, it's in between Team of the Year and Team of the Season, the questions on my Football Manager live streams on Twitch, description details in the description, of my live streams. The questions go up and up and up until Team of the Season arrives. So should I buy FM21? Obviously, this year it's on Xbox as well. We'll talk about that. But on to the video here. And a lot of you guys are new. So about some of the new features of this game. I'll give my review at the end of whether I think it is worth purchasing and how these features have changed the game. So onto the first features here. Let's go onto this screen here. Let me change up a few things so it's not massively in your face right now. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. Here we go. And it should, I say should, appear on screen. Here we go. So these are all the new features listed on this website. I'll talk about the Xbox One after this. Obviously, it adds accessibility to everyone or more people. Now it's available on more than one device, PC and also Xbox. But in terms of features for the PC version, the Xbox version doesn't have as much, but it has a lot of stuff as well. Onto this though, gestures, a new way to talk to your players in team talks and also pre-match meetings, stuff like that. There's a lot of different variations. Are they all usable? Yes, they are usable, obviously, but do you want to use half of them? No. They're a nice feature to add a bit of depth to the game, but apart from that, you aren't really using them overall because certain ones are the best ones to get best reactions. There's no point in picking something that's stupid that is brand new when it doesn't work, because at the end of the day, you want to win. You don't want to mess around and lose every game just because you're throwing water bottles when you're winning 5-0. It might be fun the first time, it's novel, but after that you want to go back to the standard ones that always work really well. It's a nice addition to the game. Obviously your body language is important, but it's not the be-all and end-all of buying this year's version. It's not one of those that makes you go, right, I have to buy this year's just so I can throw a bottle. That's not what I wanted looking for. Quick chats, extra details have been added. New option for remote quick chat in person. This is pretty much for staff and players as well. It's a more personal style of chat that might be best for save for times you need to praise or criticise one of your players. Can be used when dealing with the media, when discussing transfer rumours. Gestures work within quick chats, of course, allow managers a definite type of atmosphere. A conversation takes place in, according to Sports Interactive Manager Tom Davidson. Press conferences. Now, there's more of an overhaul of this system completely. Obviously, you guys who've played FM before, you will know what press conferences are about. I think they're in FIFA Career Mode, press conferences. I'm pretty sure they are, but the depth is pretty unrivaled in terms of FM to FIFA. You get a lot of different press people. You get magazines from real life. You get Sky Sports News. You get other broadcast channels like that. And they just fire questions at you. And normally for me, I just tend to press the same button and just skip the same answer. But if you actually care about the game and care about in-depth stuff, then this nice little overhaul system does add some depth. Obviously, the quick chats and the body language stuff does relate into the press conferences. It gives you so many more options. Say you had 5 options before for last year's FM. You've now got 5 options for opened arms, 5 options for angry, 5 options for happy, 5 options. So you've got like 50,000 options now for press conferences. Adds a bit more depth into the game, building relations with the media styles. That can help you. Media outlets can also promote your club to the press and link you with transfer players that you may not have scouted before. So having a good relationship with the media can actually help you on this game, which isn't really similar when you can say for the same FIFA Career Mode and stuff where media doesn't really help you at all, nor is it relevant. Press conferences are very helpful this year. Team talks, once again, it all links back into the body language stuff. These systems do work for team talks. Like I say, throwing a bottle is novel, but when you're 5-0 up, it's kind of best to avoid it. In-match presentation, obviously the UI has changed a lot. I do actually like it. If you've played last year's FM or previous year's FM, it does take getting used to. I will say it is very strange at first. It looks completely different, but I think after playing it for, I'd say around, how long's it been out for? 5 months? 5 months maybe it's been out for. I would say I like it a lot. I do like the new UI. I think it's very, very nice. Very clean, very sleek, very simple. There are a couple of options where I'd move this button from the bottom left corner to the top right. Stuff like that you probably get a skin for and change it if you download stuff. But overall, I think the new UI is very, very nice and makes it very easy to manage your team, which is what this is all about. Managing your team easier is what exactly FM21 is about. And I think the match UI is a tick in the right direction for you to buy this new edition. Obviously, it's not the be-all and end-all, but it is one of those things where you go, right, okay, this does look like a new game. It looks worth trying out. Definitely go and buy it. The addition of Show Me button always allows managers to quickly access statistic menus for their team or the opposition's, as well as match stats. VR decisions can be shown on the stadium screens, just as they are in the real world, which is another nice touch from the guys at FM. Their attention to detail for FM is pretty much like no other game, really, I'd say, especially no other football game. The detail from these staff is very, very, very high. They do actually care about the game, unlike you could say maybe for FIFA where they kind of don't care. I'm going to just slate FIFA. I love FIFA, I'm just saying. But for me, they do care a lot more about the game. But the main thing I would say, the two main things I'd say for FM21 compared to previous years is animations, graphics, and the match engine. We'll talk about it in a second. But here it says, this says they let down a release day normally by the match engine. But this year, they claim to improve the match engine, putting an end to strange sliding effects players seem to do instead of running so often. Shadows have undergone massive improvements to make them more realistic, as have stadiums and everything around them, such as the different camera types and furniture. Camera types don't care about, furniture not too fussed about, but I will say now, the match engine this year has been a massive improvement. I don't care what people say, no game is perfect, okay? I know there's glitches and there's bugs in every game. This is 2021. There is no game in the world that is perfect. It just doesn't happen anymore. To expect a perfect game, it's not naive because we're paying our money for it, but it is naive to think that any company has a perfect game. This engine is a massive improvement from last year. The football you can play, the variety of football you can play is a lot more diverse in my opinion from what I've seen as well and from what I've played. I've not played millions of hours compared to others. Some people will go, well, this formation is meta. Obviously it's going to be meta. Every game is meta. In real life football there are certain metas you could say to an extent. Like metas are kind of a given in football and also in video games because that's how games work. It's obviously going to be a best path to success. However, for the engine, I think there's a lot more diversity. I do like it a lot. And the engine is probably the main reason why I would say yes to buying a new edition of FM21. In terms of graphics, I do like it. It is a massive noticeable difference from FM20. It just seems cleaner, crisper, and just a lot more visually appealing, would I say? But those three things, the animations, the graphics, and the match engine, are probably the three main reasons why I would say to buy this game. But moving on to the Xbox edition here. Going to move on to Xbox edition and see what new features there are. We have done an in-depth dive of the FM21 features on Xbox. Description below, the link is there if you want to see the whole inclusive Xbox run through. It is there if you guys want to view it out. We're going to go quickly over to Xbox edition and see what it's like. Quickly, 1 second guys, let me move on to it. So as you guys can see on screen here, the FM21 Xbox features have been listed just around me here, just around me. On Xbox One, you can have 5 nations, same with Xbox One S and X. The Series S, the Series X, and obviously Windows 10, you can have 10 selectable nations. Just makes the game run a bit quicker if you have less nations on a less powerful console, which makes sense really. In terms of Xbox Edition cross saves, which means you can play from one Xbox and take it to the Windows 10 PC version edition or the Xbox Series S and switch around consoles. They're all compatible to cross saves. Online modes, they all have the same modes: career mode, fantasy draft, and the versus mode. Very, very nice for console. Obviously the main point of console is kind of nowadays playing online. So it's definitely a move in the right direction for FM to move into online space with fantasy draft and versus mode. 4K support, none for Xbox One. Xbox One S and X upscaled 4K as with Xbox Series S, and Xbox Series X and Windows 10 is native 4K. The thing is here, I've never once dreamt of playing FM in 4K. I've never once cared for it. Honestly, I've never once sat there and gone, wow, I wish I could see these spreadsheets in 4K. I've never once thought this. So to me, it's kind of a pointless feature, but it's a nice touch. They've tried hard to make some good graphics. HDR support, not for Xbox One, but yes for everything else apart from Windows 10. In terms of graphics, 3-star for Xbox One, 1S is 4, 1X is 4, and 5-star for S and X. And 4-star for Windows 10, but obviously 5-star if you do have a better display and hardware in your PC. But graphics are important this year. Obviously, I'm mocking them about 4K, because 4K is not too important. But in terms of graphics here, actually in the game and how smooth it runs, these star ratings are quite important. But for me, I think graphics has been a massive, massive change this year, and probably one of the key reasons as to why I would buy FM21 on the Xbox as well. Just the casual sitting down on your sofa, on your chair, playing FM, on your party chat with others in the fantasy draft or versus mode. Kind of makes me wish I had an Xbox in a little way. That would be really, really good to play. I could not recommend FM on Xbox enough, but could I recommend FM on PC? Here is my final verdict. So, in terms of my final verdict, FM21, should you buy it, yes or no? On Xbox, 100% yes. And for me, on PC, I'm going to say 100% yes as well. I think FM21 is a great, fantastic addition to the franchise. I think it's probably one of the best installments of recent years by a mile. Previous historic years, you have got nostalgia written in there as well. I haven't played it since before around 2013, I think. I was probably kind of too young to care for FM. I was more of a FIFA guy, like I say. But of recent years, this is probably one of the best FMs I've played. Definitely worth getting. Obviously, the new year, there are sales all year round. Probably a lower price somewhere. There are streamer codes and discount codes and websites with keys that you can get for discounts. I would not buy it off Steam. I think Steam is still regular retail price, which is quite high. I mean, to be fair, it's worth the money. But if you want to save money, you may as well look elsewhere for keys and different websites. But for me, 100% FM has some great additions this year. The graphics and the match engine in particular are the two main ones that make this game stand out to previous years. But overall, if it was kind of similar to last year's, I'd still say buy it, just because the franchise is a very, very good fun game. Especially now FIFA and other games are slowly dying out for the year. FM kind of makes its peak when other games are sort of falling down. That's kind of how FM works. But for me, I would say 100% yes. Buy FM if you have the money for it, and enjoy yourself. I have got the top 5 saves if you should pick, details below. This whole channel has FM21 beginner tips and tricks and guides and everything you need to know about FM. So go ahead guys, explore the channel, subscribe if you're new around here. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Leave a like if you did, and I'll catch you all later.